What's happening, everybody? Welcome to LightSaber Radio, the most outrageous Star Wars show on the web. And today, we got some shit to talk about. Some fantastic shit to talk about. Because Ahsoka, Episode 5, Shadow Warrior, put Star Wars back on the map, I think. I think it really did a Star Wars thing. Because Mandalorian is Mandalorian.
Better. I will say that.
Mandalorian.
It's the best episode we've had of Ahsoka. It's the best. I say it's the best episode we've had of Star Wars since Andor, for sure.
Well, and see, okay, wait a minute. Let's drop the fucking intro, and then we'll get into more depth.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Last we will reveal ourselves.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You are now if you only knew the power of gods.
Here it comes.
Let's go.
You are now tuned into LightSaber Radio. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
Okay, so you're muted.
First, I want to say let's read some comments because before the episode even started, we had some good comments. Star Wars team leader, he said, Episode 5, the live-action Clone Wars recap that didn't really teach her anything unless she was stupid for not knowing. But I have to give it to the little girl. She was way better at lightsaber fighting than Rosario Dawson. Okay, it basically was a live-action Clone Wars recap. It did teach her something, though, which Kyle kind of pointed out when we were talking before the show, which he had a good point. But yeah, the little girl was way better than Rosario Dawson, which is kind of sad that younger Ahsoka is better at fighting than older Ahsoka.
And that's
But
the same.
she killed it. That
the
little girl
actress
killed it, dude.
She's the same girl that plays Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy, the young Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy. So she's like, yeah, I don't know why she ain't starring in more shit. You know what I'm saying? Because her acting is, so far, what I've seen in her acting in...
She killed it.
She's a pretty good actor. I think she could be one of the top actors in Hollywood if they really gave her an opportunity to play some major roles. I don't know what other roles she's done played. That's the only two things I've seen her in. But she killed it.
She did. She definitely did better than Rosario Dawson, I think, at least with the lightsaber combat. And I agree, Chris. They need. I've been saying this since the beginning. They need a stunt double for Ahsoka in the lightsaber scenes because Rosario Dawson is not doing it.
I mean, I didn't like when she's fighting fucking Anakin. I liked it. I thought she did a great job. Hayden's good. We all know Hayden's good. We seen the motherfucking the shit. You know, yeah, he's 20 fucking years older, but he still did a great job. And
no, but you could tell both of them were very slow. It was not the same choreography.
Well, what they should have done, if they were smart, they should have, since they love using,
at least.
yeah, they should have sped it up a little bit and made it look more. But then you would have cut down on
like
the time
Jedi?
of the episode. Well, just like the samurai. You go back and look at all the samurai movies from back in the day. They always sped up the fight scenes.
Right.
I mean,
that was
and that's
really
all. And you ain't got to speed it up that much. You could do it like 0.5, and it makes it look
exactly
way better. So I don't know why they didn't do that. But you know what I'm saying? I enjoyed it. I thought that the lightsaber duel wasn't bad. I thought it could have been better, but I didn't think it was bad by no means.
I think you're just used to Disney lightsaber scenes.
I mean, because we are never gonna get.
We're never gonna get the prequel trilogy lightsaber scenes ever.
Nah, we're never gonna get that again.
And those were the best lightsaber scenes, hands down.
So it's kind of you can't sit back and then you can't sit back and say, oh, Hayden can do it because Hayden can do it. Hayden is fucking 50 years old. You know what I'm saying?
And he also, I understand like the practice was not, they didn't have the same amount of practice, but they need to understand that's the standard that Star Wars is at. So they should at least speed it up in editing, is all I'm saying.
But I do say this is probably the best Star Wars that made you feel like you're watching Star Wars episode that I've watched out of anything so far.
See, I still think Andor,
because I don't feel like Andor don't feel like Star Wars.
Yeah, you say that, it does to me though. So that's why
Andor just
I'll
feels
disagree
like
with you.
fucking Andor feels like Andor. It's like, to me, it's something totally different. This actually, I mean, we had lightsaber battles, we had Force, we had fucking. I even liked the fucking Jason Solo part where I just didn't like the Hera part. How the fuck is Hera here in this shit? Just because Jason told her, I didn't like that part. Like, that's stupid. Why did y'all do that? That don't even make no fucking sense. If she don't have Force abilities.
There was some weird dialogue parts. Like the fact where the droid is talking to the pilot. Oh, Hayden's father, Hayden's father had the Force and was a Jedi, and now has Force
Jason's?
abilities. Yeah. And the pilot just goes, okay.
I thought that shit was funny.
I don't know. It was a little bit weird.
I thought that shit was funny.
And then Ahsoka's like, we're in the Clone Wars. And Anakin's, yes, we are in the Clone Wars. I mean, it was funny, but it was also like a little bit weird.
I didn't think that was funny. I mean, when you look at it, because she's like, she gets kicked or she gets the fucking thing chopped and she falls and then she wakes up, she's in the Clone Wars. Like, why am I in the Clone Wars? What the fuck am I doing here? Like, Master. And it's like, he's not like, he's acting like he doesn't know that they're in the world between worlds. You know what I'm saying? So it's they're actually there.
I don't think that's Anakin. I think this is in her head.
I mean, it's possible, but anyway.
This is.
And then I thought I thought one of the best parts is when Jason's like, go see the ship, and then the training fucking thing on the Jedi ship, and then he was like, "Can I get trained to be a Jedi? Can you?"
No.
He kept saying, "No." I was cracking up. I was laughing so hard. I was like, that shit is fucking funny. He's like, no. He was like, can you teach me how to build a lightsaber? No. I was cracking up. I was like,
good.
I was like, oh, yeah. No, overall, like.
It was better. It was good.
It was it blew the fucking first 4 episodes out of the water.
For me, I'm still convinced if they would have, instead of making these episodes, if they would have made this a movie, like the first 4 episodes, just made it one long movie, I think it would have been so much better than having it separated into episodes. I think the flow would have been better. I think episodes, because some of the episodes were slow and moved slow. I think the whole flow would have been better. I think the climax would have been better. I think some of the dialogue, you could have cut out some of the clunky parts of dialogue. And I just think it would have been so much better if this would have been a movie.
All I know is this episode right here, fucking, like, I'm not going to say it completely redeemed the whole thing.
The end of this episode, this totally could have been the end to a movie. This episode.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. Like, the fucking Ahsoka's fucking way braver than me. I'm not flying in the mouth of a fucking Purgle to go at light speed.
I still think that was fucking weird. Oh, no.
I was like, what the fuck, you going in the mouth? Oh,
it's
Jesus.
a little bit weird, bro. You got to admit,
I was like, you're fucking about
weird.
to get eaten and shit. Like that shit was weird as shit. But I liked it. And I liked that I was surprised. It surprised me because all my predictions that I thought was going to happen didn't happen. So that's when I can be like, usually I can figure some shit out.
I'm kind of glad they went that direction instead of like teleporting through there.
That shit, like, because I truly believed that that's what was going to happen. That they was going to be in a world between worlds and Anakin was going to show her the fucking way. And they went a totally different direction. And a direction that I didn't think. So it surprised the shit out of me. Which made it even better. Because usually I'm pretty good about figuring shit out.
So was that the world between worlds then?
I don't know if this is the only reason I say yes. It's because how did Jason hear the lightsaber battle?
How did he hear the lightsaber battle? But how was she just woke up underwater? What the fuck?
That didn't bother me.
Without drowning?
You know what I'm saying? She could have been floating on top of the water and then she just now started to sink. You know what I'm saying? There's
why didn't they see her?
To explain it. I don't know. I just the fucking nostalgia that it gave me to watch this episode, to watch Ahsoka and Anakin fighting just like they used to practice in the Clone Wars. And then, you know what I'm saying, the whole underlying meaning of the story. And then Ahsoka and Dave did I think it's on, oh fuck, I had it pulled up, but I forgot. They did an interview about episode 5 because they said this was their favorite episode. And basically what it meant, what the underlying meaning of the episode was, her having to give up her hate to become Ahsoka the White, which, you know, as me and Garrison was talking about before the episode, that's fucking straight stole from fucking from Lord of the Rings. But
like,
you know what I'm saying? It's still gay. I mean, just the nostalgia factor just wowed the shit out of me.
Ahsoka the Gray or something. Like, I don't know.
Well, she becomes Ahsoka the White in the Clone Wars, at the end of the Clone Wars.
Right. At the end of Rebels,
so, because when she goes to Padme's
if it was the end of
funeral,
Clone Wars, she would be Ahsoka the White already then.
Well, and that's why I don't understand why they did it here, because this is like way after that shit. But when she goes to
so how does she become
when she
Ahsoka
goes to
and then
Padme's funeral, she's wearing the white. She's wearing white when she goes to Padme's funeral.
So how does that happen?
So that I don't know why like they did it like this. Maybe it was just because in the series they were like trying to show her transformation. And I think, you know what I'm saying, they just to give like newer fans something to look at, because there's really no reason for it. Like, she's wearing dark and then she comes out wearing white. And then the one of the things that I noticed that I really, really liked, and when she sets out of the bed and she puts her feet on the ground, she only has 2 toes.
I wasn't even paying attention.
I look because I'm like, Ahsoka wears socks. You know what I'm saying? Did they wear socks in Star Wars? You know what I'm saying? And she only has 2 toes. So I'm like, dude, for them to do that, you know what I'm saying, to show that, you know what I'm saying, to show that much detail in for every little thing, I said, man, that's going. Dave was like, dude, this got to be perfect. And she got like ninja shoes on, but it's really socks, because she puts on the shoes when she goes outside when she's talking to Jason. She's wearing them tannish looking boots thingies. But like, to see that is like, dude, you put detail into that shit, and that surprised the shit out of me, because most of the time they're like, ain't nobody gonna look at her feet. But I guess, you know, Dave's like, hey, there's enough people out there with foot fetishes that, you know what I'm saying, you got to look. Because, you know, I pay, the second time I'm watching it, I'm paying attention to every little detail. And I noticed that, and I was like, damn, for the real? Oh, man, that's pretty dope. I don't know. This episode was just fucking, like, so far, this is probably the best, like, fucking Star Wars episode that, to me, that they put out. That's like makes me feel like I'm watching Star Wars. I don't know. It just made me feel like I was watching fucking Star Wars again. I wasn't watching some offbeat Star Wars. I wasn't watching some Disney shit. It actually felt like I was watching something that George Lucas made. Like just the way that it all played out. It was fucking. And then the fucking, oh god, the visuals. Oh my god, the visuals, when the Flash and the fucking Anakin walking, turning into Vader, that shit was so dope. I was like, good. Oh my god, this shit is dope. That shit was so perfect. Like, dude, man, and then, because a lot of times when they do that, like cut scenes like that, you can see it. You'll see the fucking like other shit changes other than the person. You know what I'm saying? You just notice there'll be like vignetting and different shit. All that shit, there was none of that shit. That shit was done so flawlessly. Like, I want to know who the fuck is editing this shit. I want to give him a hug, because he's doing a fucking great job editing this shit. Which probably, and it might be Dave editing this shit, which I don't know. But whoever's fucking editing this shit, they're doing a fabulous job editing. Like, nothing was out of place. Like, the footsteps was perfect. Like, everything was just, I was like, oh my god, this is so fucking good. The music was good. Just fucking everything was just like I was like literally jumping up and down in excitement as I was watching it. even the second time I watched it when I was looking for shit, it was still like I had just watched it the first time. Like, holy shit, this is fucking good. Like I said, there was some things like I didn't like the hair part. Like, how the fucking hair ain't got no fucking force ability. She can't fucking hear what's going on in the world between worlds. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is that shit? You know, Jason hearing it, I was like, yeah, well, come on, they're gonna show that he's force sensitive. We know it from the comics, and I don't even look at the comics, but we know in the comics, Jason Syndulla is a fucking Jedi. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? We know that he has force abilities, so they gotta show him having force abilities. And without doubt, this was a fucking fan service episode, but it was fucking very 100%. Well done.
Yeah.
It was very well done. It applied to the story. So like, I don't mind it. I didn't mind the Luke coming in. I wish they wouldn't have showed us the shit last week, like the fucking Anakin part. They should have just started off, boom, Anakin there in this episode. I think it would have made this episode even better.
I think, because, like I said, I think it would have just made a better movie.
Like, I don't know. I was thinking about that. Like, I might, you know what I'm saying, do like that one dude did with Kenobi and cut it up and put it in a movie, take out some of the slow pacing parts and form it all together and make a movie and stick it out for everybody to watch. But it's one of those things, like, and I'm just hoping that they build on this. Like the last, because we got what, 6, 7, and 8. We got 3 more episodes left. And if they just, I would fucking completely understand. You did the first 4 episodes. They was kind of slow, little character development, kind of told us what was going on a little bit. Didn't give us a lot of information. You know, and then just fucking the last 4 episodes, just knock it out of the fucking park. I give this motherfucker way better rating. Right now, this episode will be the highest rating that I give so far, because like this motherfucker was better than all the first 4 put together. You could put all of them together.
This one made me want to lower my rating for some of the other ones, though. That's the problem. Because, well, one of the big problems I think with this episode, with the rest of it, was that Ahsoka in this one goes through a major character shift, a major character development, to a character that previously had no character whatsoever. She goes through this big thing of like letting go of her hate and letting go of the past. Well, why didn't we see any kind of struggle or any kind of that in the first 3 episodes or in the first 4 episodes? No, she was blank. She was blank in the first 4 episodes.
That's what they were explaining.
Give me a little,
her
they
walking
did a
away
bad
from
job
Sabine,
is what I'm saying.
Like she walked away from the Jedi Order.
And so
like
what
she
I'm
walked away from Anakin.
So what I'm saying is
they gave just enough for us to know. Chris makes a good point. I don't think it was fan service.
Did I finish my point though?
Yeah, go ahead.
They gave very little to no character development in the first 4 episodes. I want to see a little bit more of a path to this change. Because before she was very much a blank, nothing. And in this one, she goes through this big change. Show me a little bit of struggle and regret and attachment to that hate that she's letting go of.
That was the whole point about her walking away from Ahsoka and not being a good master, and you know what I'm saying? That was her whole thing. And then they explained it in this episode when she's talking about
show some of that in the character. They talk about that, but the character is just very, you know what I mean?
That's why she's like that.
Struggle within the character.
That's why she's like that. She's like that because she still got that hate inside of her. She still got that. She's just dull. She's a very dull character. Anakin had to teach her how to let go of the hate. You know what I'm saying? Which was like trying to kill her is the way you get rid of the hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, use hate to get rid of hate. Yeah, it was kind of weird, but I was like, you know what I'm saying? But Chris brought up a good point. He said, I don't think this was fan service. Think about those who didn't watch Rebels and Clone Wars. This episode literally gives them some background on who show it is based on, and it's informative, and that's true. Okay, but for anybody that knows about the stuff,
you should have showed it a lot sooner.
Anybody else that knows, and then really. Well, I guess it could go either way.
Because you know, someone who's never
everybody
seen
that's a Star Wars fan, I think everybody that everybody that's a Star Wars fan is gonna be like, it was fan service. Everybody that's like never seen Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that, they're not gonna know the difference. So it could go either way.
Well, but
I think it was fucking very well done anyway. I think it was very well done. Only thing that I would wish they would have done different is I wish they wouldn't have fucking showed Anakin last episode. If they'd have just jumped out in this episode, like right before she seen Anakin, I think it would have just been that much more spectacular. Because we'd have been like, what the fuck? Oh, Anakin's here. And then we could have been having the questions that we was questioning last week, like, is he a Force Ghost? The only reason I think that she was actually in a World of Worlds because Jason heard the lightsaber battle. He felt the lightsaber battle through the Force. To hear her think, that just was weird. But Jason being able to sense the lightsaber battle and hear the lightsaber battle, that tells me that in the Force somehow there was a lightsaber battle going on. You know what I'm saying? Now, was she actually in the worlds, between worlds? But something was going on where he could sense that. Angelina says, hello, I wish Rex would have took off his helmet and seen the DA's Tim Morris. Tim, that was the actor that was in the suit was not actually Tim.
And I still don't think. Oh, you could tell. You could tell it wasn't Tim. You trust me.
Well, and then you see all the rest of the clones. They all had their faces covered.
Yeah, and
you know what I'm saying.
Well, also,
even the dude that was laying there, he had that mask. The guy on the other side, because I zoomed in on that. Right. They had like a cover over his face. Tim wasn't. If you look at the credits, Tim was only credited for voice. So I don't think, I don't think Tim could have. Like Tim, I don't know. I don't think he would have. Yeah, because with his weight, the weight gain that he has right now,
his weight gain,
I don't think he could have played. But playing the voice was good enough.
Even though like size of the clones in this are not the same as the size of the clones we've seen previously. All the clones in here looked a little bit big. Is all I'm gonna say. Yeah. Definitely bigger than they were. So that's the only problem I had is that the clones were significantly bigger and not as lean as they were anywhere else we've seen them. So that's one thing. Chris says, I see fan service as putting fucking Lizzo and Jack Black in Star Wars. No, that's fucking shitty cameo is what it is. Bringing back a main character from the past that builds the stories far from fan service. I think it was fan service, but as we'll get into, I think it was fan service. Like, it wasn't completely out of place fan service, which is okay. Fan service, that goes along with the story is not outrageous like any other kind of fan service.
We all knew that Anakin was going to be in here. You can't have Ahsoka without fucking the ghost of Anakin or fucking Anakin being in. You just can't do that because Anakin is such a major component
to who she is
to Ahsoka. So he had that's like fucking, you know what I'm saying, having a offshoot of fucking Luke being in some shit and not having Obi-Wan in it. You know what I'm saying? Like Obi-Wan's gonna pop up as a Force Ghost, or having Obi-Wan you know what I'm saying? Like in Obi-Wan Kenobi service or Obi-Wan Kenobi series, we knew that fucking Qui-Gon was going to show up. It was crazy that they waited till the last fucking 2 seconds of the fucking thing, but we knew it was going to be in there.
Having Anakin show up at the end of the last episode, that was just random fan service.
I don't think it was. I think it was.
This one was more.
I don't even think it, you know, and in all actuality, it might not even be fan service because we all knew that it was coming. I think it might have been more of a, you know what I'm saying, it's just how it was, you know what I'm saying? I think him being in it for a whole episode, that was fan service because he was in it almost a whole episode, like 26 minutes of the fucking episode, he's in the episode. I think that might have been more of a fan service. They might have extended it out, which I'm not complaining because that shit was fucking dope. But I just think that, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say where fucking Dave was going with it. It might have been shorter, and he might have extended it because he was like, let's give some, you know, more Hayden, because everybody loves Hayden. Fuck, if you sat back and say you don't love Hayden Christensen as a Star Wars actor, then you're fucking crazy. Because fucking Hayden, fuck, the whole goddamn series is based off of him. You know what I'm saying? The first 6 movies is fucking all about Darth Vader. So, you know what I'm saying? And Hayden Christensen plays Darth Vader and fucking Anakin Skywalker. So, you know, you can't fucking, well, I guess Phantom Menace really not, because, you know, that was what's his face. But,
So,
I mean,
the Essential says...
it played to the point.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
right.
go ahead.
Essential says Anakin showing up is called a cliffhanger. Good drama. No, a cliffhanger is when the story leads up to a spot and then doesn't finish it. Anakin showing up when we have no prior interaction of Anakin in the series, and then, hey, let's just throw Anakin in, which Anakin comes from a completely different thing. Ahsoka's barely talked about him. Ahsoka hasn't showed him at all. That's a little bit of fan service. A cliffhanger is when the story leads up to it, and then you don't know what's going to happen next. And up until then, the story...
It was just the way that it was. I wouldn't even say that. Just the way that they did it. You know what I'm saying? Because Master, Snips. That was it. That's all we got. Yeah. Like, if they had a little bit more dialogue, something to lead into the cliffhanger. You know what I'm saying? To me, just showing up is not really a cliffhanger. To me, it's like, why? What was the purpose of that? That's how I kind of felt on the last episode. And I think that if they'd have just left that out and just brought us right into where this was, it would have been so much better.
Yeah, Chris classifies it more as a tease than a cliffhanger. I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah, I agree that. I definitely agree with that.
Definitely a tease.
Angelina says, I want Luke and Anakin to reunite, a father and son moment. That would be, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing that, like the Force ghost of Anakin showing up and talking to Luke. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all, like giving them some advice or something like that. I would not mind seeing that at all. I think that would be something, because you got to understand, the last time they really talked or did anything is at the very end of fucking Revenge of the Sith, when he shows up as the Force ghost with Yoda and them, and they don't even really talk. He just kind of gives them a nod like, yeah, you did a good job. You know what I'm saying? And the actual last time they talk is at the end, where he takes off the helmet and then fucking Anakin dies. So I wouldn't mind seeing him come back and giving a little bit of advice, or, you know what I'm saying, something like that. Now, I wouldn't want to see it if they did like a world between world things, like leave that Ahsoka and, you know what I'm saying, let him pop up as like an actual Force ghost, you know, with the light blue ring around him and all that shit.
The only problem I have with that is that it wouldn't fit. Like, how does that go from Luke being this hopeful guy to seeing his father come visit him, which makes him grow even more, to now regressing to trying to kill Kylo Ren? Like, well, I don't think that would fit.
Now, what I would like to see, and it's something else that I don't know if everybody else caught, but I would like to see him, because in some of the books, Anakin comes and talks to Leia, and she keeps shunning him away, like, fuck you, you're an asshole. You tried to fucking kill me, you fucker. That would be cool. Blew up my planet. I want to see that. And I would like to see that. Did y'all catch that they brought up Leia in the fucking episode? That's one of the Easter eggs.
When?
So when
they said, you're right.
Senator Organa can only keep the fucking people at bay, or run whatever.
I remember, yeah.
So I was like, dude, they just talked about Leia. My wife was like, what the fuck? She said Senator Organa. Who do you think Senator Organa is? That's fucking Leia. And she was like, oh, well, yeah, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking Leia. See, this is another thing why I knew this episode was good, because my wife watched it with me. She's been watching all the Ahsoka with me.
Right.
And she was even excited. And she was asking a bunch of questions, like, who is this? What is this? What is this? And like the first 4 episodes, it was just
so much better. Yeah.
She was just like there. And that's how I knew, for somebody that's not even really that big of a Star Wars fan, for her to be asking questions and get excited about stuff, that this is working. Because, like, the first 4 episodes, she was just like, you know what I'm saying? And then she was like, oh, Hayden Christensen. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the episode 4, it was like no big deal. This episode, she was, like, really asking questions, and she was, like, getting excited about shit. So that's another thing that, you know, I noticed that made me say, not just the way I was feeling, like, because I might just be crazy. I might just be fucking, you know, licking Ahsoka's ass or something, you know what I'm saying? Tossing some salad here. But, You know what I'm saying? That this episode was fucking way better than the previous 4 episodes just because of the reaction of somebody that's not a Star Wars fan watching it. Because my wife has watched all the Star Wars. Of course, I'm a fucking Star Wars nut. I watch Star Wars all the damn time. But she's not like into it like that. And she was actually into it. She was getting excited about shit. And I'm watching that and I'm paying attention to that. And I'm like, dude, this fucking episode is fucking good. This is really, really good. And she was like, yeah, see, that felt like more like Star Wars. That's what she said. And for her to say that, this felt more like I was watching Star Wars. The other ones, she was just like, whatever. So, and like I said, if they build off of this, like I would be perfectly happy if they did the first 4 episodes the way that they did it, and then the last 4 is fucking spectacular. I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Because in all reality, I mean, we kind of got that in real life. So you know what I'm saying? Like shit starts off dull and then it gets more exciting as things progress. And I think that this episode shows this was now the thing that gets me is Rosario Dawson and fucking Dave Filoni both said that this was their favorite episode. So that kind of scares me.
Yeah.
That this might be the best episode in the whole season, in the whole thing. Because
it might be.
And I hope it's not like that.
Well, because part of me is worried, like, Ahsoka went through some major character development, and now I feel like her character development, like, it was 1 episode of character development, and then boom, she's gonna be perfect for the rest of the show.
I'm just happy that she showed more emotion, that she was more.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The character was better. Because in the first one,
there was a character.
It is dull. She is dull. But in Rebels, she was dull like that. And I've been saying that. Rebels, she's all serious. Then a motherfucker don't barely ever joke, don't ever really do anything in Rebels. So to see her in the first 4 episodes act like that wasn't a big deal because I've seen her act like that in Rebels. But for her to come out and smile and fucking, you know what I'm saying, and interact with the characters, not so fucking stiff, and it made it way better. The overall, the only things that I did not like about this episode was the hair hearing the fucking thing. That shit was kind of stupid. Like, what do you hear, Jason? What do you see? That's all she had to say. And then he'd be like, Mom, Ahsoka's out there. She's out there. I know it. I can feel it. And then they go into the Force thing. That would have been perfectly fine. But for Hera to be able to hear it, that shit was just weird.
Besides Hera, that moment of him like hearing the lightsabers, I thought was actually really well done.
Really well done.
Like, because, like, you know how I feel about a lot of the other moments in this series. They've been kind of cheesy and kiddish. That one was actually surprisingly very well done. Felt really good.
It felt really put together. Felt real. It felt like
it felt real.
It drew you in.
It actually made me feel.
You kind of just got real quiet and was listening to see if you could hear it too.
And the crazy thing was, like, at the beginning of this series, I was like, him being a Jedi, I don't give a shit. Whatever. I do not care about this character that much. But this episode actually made me care. Actually made me feel like him hearing the lightsabers was a significant moment, and that him being Force sensitive was significant. And so, yeah, they did a great job this episode, I think, with that moment.
Chris made a good point. He said it's their favorite, not the best, I hope. Yeah, I hope so, too. And then Angelina says, she said Ahsoka the White Black Series edition. Yeah. They could definitely come out with that. That would be a good Hasbro thing to come out with. Star Wars team leader said, I like as she was going to throw the Clone Wars, her lightsabers were changing to the times. Yep. The live action Clone Wars part was dope. You know what I'm saying? Them running into battle. The dialogue between Ahsoka being young and Anakin during the Clone Wars, him trying to explain, especially when she was like, don't you feel bad? And he was like, yeah, I feel bad, but dude, we're in war. You know what I'm saying? People die in war. All that shit was, I don't know, I liked all of it. It just made so much sense. It really made me feel, I can't say it in enough, it made me feel like I was watching a clone. I think.
Okay. It wasn't okay. Perfect. I thought it was me for a second.
It's doing
Apparently,
that
Kyle, you
again.
froze.
There's the connect.
Kyle, you're breaking up so bad, my dude. I thought it was me for a second, so I'm glad the chat kind of spoke up. I did like seeing kind of a mature Anakin, but to me, I don't think that Anakin was actually Anakin. To me, I think that was more in her head what the Force was telling her. So I don't think that was Anakin, because I feel like if it was actually Anakin, it would be like the Force Ghost Anakin. It would be Anakin with the blue around him and stuff like that. I
don't think it was a Force Ghost because they were fighting one another. You never seen a Force Ghost fight nobody. I think it was more. I don't know what the hell to explain it, because Jason heard it. That's the only reason I think that shit really happened. Because how could Jason hear it if it was never going? How, unless he's a fucking mind reader in the Force and he's reading her mind. You know what I'm saying? But then how?
That's why it doesn't. Yeah, so that's why this thing kind of doesn't make sense.
But it was
if Anakin's dead, how is he in the world between worlds? You know what I mean? I think Kyle froze again. So overall, it's definitely a better episode. I'll go through kind of the points. Can you hear the lightsabers? That was great. Still some of the dialogue was clunky. That is one thing. The dialogue is still clunky and cheesy compared to other Star Wars we've seen. The clones didn't look great. They were kind of bigger and bulkier than we kind of normally see the clones. So the clones just looked a little off to me. But still glad to see him. The lightsaber fight was really slow. I think we need Rosario Dawson. I think we need an action. We need a stunt double for her, because she's definitely kind of slow with the fighting. It was funny that the kid was better at lightsaber fighting than the adult, but she did a great job. I really liked having her. And that at first, when I was first watching the episode, I thought this whole thing was like a big fan service. Now, the reason my mind changed is because me and Kyle were kind of talking, and Ahsoka does go through this big kind of character development in this episode where she learns to kind of let go of the past. And like Kyle said, she lets go of her hate through this whole process. And so that's why, like, a lot of people might think this episode was straight fan service, but actually it kind of fits with the story. So yeah, it was fan service, but I feel like if it fits with the story and is essential and like is a big part of the story, who cares that it's fan service, because it's part of the story. So to me, it kind of makes it not fan service anymore, because she's learning to let go of the past, let go of her hate. And you do see that a lot. So I like that.
Well, there's a like, I don't know, I kind of agree with what Chris says earlier. It's not really fan service if you're doing it, if it's part of the story, right? It's part of the story, and then it would be more fan service for the fans. But new viewers, like, they don't know anybody about it. They need to learn what's going on.
Exactly. Well,
so it makes
my
sense.
Thing about the new viewers, I think you probably would have want to new viewers are not going to stick around 5 episodes to figure out who Ahsoka is.
I don't know. Just
a lot of new viewers are kind of done at this point. Like, why the fuck? All I'm saying is, like, you want to show a background on a character to get people invested in the character. Ahsoka's been kind of dry and boring so far in the series. So I feel like new viewers who have no idea who Ahsoka is wouldn't stick around this long. And
I do agree with it. I think that they could have done better in the first 4 episodes of fucking, know, who's who Yang. Like, anybody coming into the series, they're not going to know who this dude is, a 10,000-year-old droid that's been teaching Jedi for all this time.
I'm still
They're not going to know who Sabine is. They're not going to know who these characters are. And, like, so even, like, them, like, the story that's been told so far about, you know what I'm saying, what's going on with them has been very like obsolete. You know what I'm saying? It's been very like, you know, who are these people? Why am I watching this? I can understand that. But I think there was enough there to keep a person interested enough that I don't think that a new viewer coming in, especially the hype that Ahsoka's gotten so far, they're going to want to watch it all the way through. And we see by the numbers that it's putting up. It's putting up pretty good numbers. So it's definitely a thing that we can look at and say that it's it's going in the direction in it going. I don't think it's going to lose viewership. And I guarantee after this, if they made it to episode 5, they ain't leaving now. They're going to be like, holy shit. Especially because now, and then they just did the little phenomenon thing, which, I mean, it's basically just recaps of what we've already seen on the little video. That's why I didn't download it and pull it up so we could all watch it. It's just basically Thrawn talking, you know what I'm saying? Going over the scenes, and they have some characters that they put in there that I guess we're going to see. I guess we're going to see Bo-Katan and, you know, somebody else, some other characters that they put in there, which is kind of a hologram of her. But that's another thing. The Caesar Mandalore was on there. That was the other thing I didn't like. Because Ahsoka is fucking just cutting and stabbing the shit out of her, like when she's teenage Ahsoka. Right. She just cutting and stabbing. These motherfuckers have on fucking. They're in Mandalorian armor.
Exactly. So why couldn't Sabine cut through what's her face's armor?
Or you mean Shin cut through Sabine's armor? Like, dude,
that's what I mean. Yeah, right.
I'm like, dude, they got on different armor? If they're wearing fucking Beskar, she's not just cutting through that shit like she's doing it in the thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, that kind of, I don't think it really bothers me because I know you have to really look, because I know at one point, that
like there's
they weren't using Beskar anymore, and I couldn't remember personally, and honestly, I didn't go look it up, so I can't really say whether or not, but I know that because there was like a Beskar shortage or something that happened. I think it's in the end of the Clone Wars that they weren't wearing Beskar no more. They was wearing like regular fucking armor. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't really say, but I was like, dude, if it's fucking, they're fighting on Mandalore, why wouldn't these Mandalorians be in fucking, you know,
well, the
Beskar?
fact that, because they were super commandos, like,
yeah, so
they would have Beskar.
So it was just that was the other thing I didn't like about it.
Like gaps in the armor.
But she's slashing. Like, if you see, she slashes down and cutting them down like that.
She's like, she's going stabs through one of them. Armor. Exactly.
Yeah, she stabs through one of them, and that definitely could go through, like, you know, that middle piece. Yeah. You got that middle diamond right there, and any one of the points where it's open, it could stab through there. But, like, she's slashing down, and I was like, what the fuck? How the hell is she just cutting these motherfuckers down like that?
You could have had her cutting them down. You could have cutting them down if she would have been hitting the gaps. But the fact that she's cutting through it like paper, it bugged me.
Yeah, that shit was kind of like, what the
and
fuck
also
is going on?
the fact at the end where she just wakes up underwater, like, come on, bro.
That didn't bother me so much.
Nah, like, how is she not drowned?
Like, well, we don't know what her species, how long they can live underwater.
Oh, how long they can they breathe underwater?
Or how long they can hold their breath. Maybe she can hold her breath for like fucking 20 minutes. You know, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? We don't fucking actually know too much about the species. I mean, I guess we could look it up on Wikipedia and find out. But you know what I'm saying? That shit didn't bother me because I try not to speculate on, you know, stupid shit like that. Because for all we know, she just now started sinking. You know what I'm saying? She might have been floating on the water and they're just fucking idiots and couldn't find her. You know what I'm saying? We are talking about fucking X-Wing pilots, and not like we're looking at fucking, you know, the rescue operations, the New Republic rescue operation. These are just X-Wing pilots. Yeah. But, like, and the only two things that really bothered me was the best, like them fighting, when she's fighting the Mandalorians and the Siege of Mandalore, and the fucking, her hearing the lightsaber, like, But then I even that didn't bother me so much because I'm like, what is Jason's force abilities? Can he, you know what I'm saying, project and fucking, you know, him using the force? Was he, you know what I'm saying, being able to let his mom hear it without, you know what I'm saying, and he don't even know he's doing that yet? We don't really know. So I like, that didn't bother me too much. But the Beskar stuff, that really bothered me. Like, dude, what the hell? She just slicing through these dudes like they ain't shit, man. Like, this, dude, that don't make no damn sense. And then I like the fact that when Anakin comes up, was like, I don't remember this war. Because you was Darth Vader by now, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You was fucking killing younglings and shit. You know, so, like, I don't know. It just a lot.
Right.
Seeing the live action Clone Wars was fucking, like,
it was
seeing
great.
Rex.
But I'm not satisfied. I want to see more live action Clone Wars. I'm not even close.
I would too. I would definitely. That opened up the door for me that I want to see more of that.
Yeah,
I want to see. I mean, we had, you know,
large scale war Star Wars.
You know, more Ryloth. I mean, there was on Ryloth in that first scene when she's real young. I like to see that. I don't know, man. There was just so many good parts about it. It's really hard for me to give any real negative parts because, I mean, it's all speculation negative. It's not really like negative. It's just like how you perceived it.
I think the whole episode was better. I still have some problems with execution.
And the fucking
what they did was great. How they did it, there's still some hiccups.
The visuals, and the music and the Foley and everything was just fucking done so well. It just made it so hard to fucking be able to criticize anything on there. I think the only thing I really have to criticize is you just not cutting motherfucking Beskar up. Like, hey, you're a fucking teenager. You ain't even that good yet. You know what I'm saying?
I think she was in the world between worlds, because now that I think about it, the fact that she like closes her eyes, the water comes above her head, and then she wakes up underwater. It's the world between worlds. And then the fact that he can hear it, he can hear the lightsaber battle, means, okay, he's not a Force ghost. It can't just be in her head. Anakin's dead. I think it's like literally the Force is speaking to her. I think the Force is speaking to her or something. I think it's just how the Force is. I hope that they don't
fucking bring Anakin back as like a fucking actual person, because somehow his fucking... No, they can't do that because, well, fuck, it's Disney. They do all kinds of weird shit.
I think what they could do is that because he's I think he's the chosen one, but being the chosen one isn't necessarily him, you know, because we still have the sequels, right? Mm-hmm. And with the sequels, it kind of just makes, okay, what the fuck was the purpose of the chosen one if the sequel trilogy happened? So I think the only way for the sequel trilogy and Anakin to be the chosen one can coexist is the fact that Anakin continues to live in this world between worlds and communicates to people through that.
That would be kind of cool if he was in
and that makes him the chosen one.
Rey.
Yeah. And so if they find a way to tie that in, I won't forgive the sequels, but I'll be a little bit more kind to them. And I agree with Angelina. I hope Ahsoka retcons the sequels completely. That would be great. Or at least erases them. That'd be awesome.
Uh-huh. Well, anyway. My biggest hope is whatever this Rey movie that comes out, like, brings like a new direction, like get like just kind of like fucking like, I hope it's so good that we just forget about the sequels, like other than Rey was in it, and hope they bring back Poe and fucking Finn, you know, and some of the characters in it, and they just fucking do something way better, because then it'll be like, all right, fuck the sequels. The sequels are just like 3 movies to introduce characters that now are dope. You know what I'm saying? Because they wasn't that dope in the sequel. You know what I'm saying? That's my hope. You know what I'm saying? But again, you know, it's just dealing with Disney. It's so hard to fucking really build your hopes up. The only thing that's kind of cool is that they're bringing in outside directors, you know, people that are outside of the Star Wars fandom to come with ideas. And I think that it might, well, and it just depends on who writes it. If they get the same old writers, and, you know what I'm saying, we're going to get the same shit. But hopefully they get new writers. Hopefully a lot of the writers that work for Disney don't get what they want and they fucking leave and we get new writers. Because if I worked for Disney, I would leave because Disney's one of the biggest fucking components against the fucking the swag fucking strike. So hopefully, you know, we get some new writers in there and they come with some new unique shit. And like I said before, I still hope that they come out with the High Republic shit because I think it'll be better. And because the father, Kylo Ren, the son, Ahsoka, the daughter.
Oh, so Anakin's the father, Kylo Ren's the son, Ahsoka's the daughter. I don't know.
Yeah, from the Mortis.
So what would you rate it, Kyle? Now that we've gotten to it, final rating.
I'm going to get.
Kyle.
I'm giving this an 8.5.
8.5.
8.5. I would go 9, but I didn't like the fucking the Siege of Mandalore. I didn't like that.
I'm sorry. It's not the same level as Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back, we agreed, was like a 9.
Yeah.
A 9 or 9.5. And it's not with it's a full point down from Empire Strikes Back or from Revenge of the Sith, right? Because we agreed Revenge of the Sith was like 9, maybe 9.5. And it was not within a point of Revenge of the Sith, in my opinion, right? I think... See, I'm stuck between a 7.5 and an 8. Personally, I think if I overlook some of the cheesiness and the bad dialogue, I'll give it 8. But I still think that's part of it. I know I'm nitpicky, so I don't know. I'd probably give it a 7.5.
Yeah. Like I said, the only two things that I really didn't like, I didn't like the Hera thing and I didn't like the Siege of Mandalore part. I mean, I liked the part. I just didn't like the fact that she just fucking slashing down Mandalorians. It's like it ain't shit. But I like the Hera part because I don't know what Jason's force ability is. So I don't know, like, was he projecting it into Hera's head so she could hear it? You know, fucking the force allows you to do so many different things. And I think I would have went lower. But I gave that away because I don't know his force abilities. I don't know what he's able to do. And was he, you know, able to let her hear it because he, you know what I'm saying, put it in her head or he used the force so she could hear it. I don't know yet what his force abilities is. So I let that go. That's why I went up to 8.5 from 8. Because originally I was only going to give it 8. You know what I'm saying? None's a 10, 9.5, you know what I'm saying, down to a 9. But I think it was very good. Overall, I think, this is some of the best Star Wars that I've seen because it actually feels like Star Wars. And I know you disagree with me because Andor doesn't feel like Star Wars. Andor is fucking great. It just doesn't feel like Star Wars to me. You know what I'm saying? Right. It feels like Andor.
And I understand. I understand why you feel like that.
Even with Mandalorian, I don't feel like the Mandalorian is Star Wars. It feels like The Mandalorian. Well, I mean, I know that it's part of Star Wars, but it don't give you that same Star Wars nostalgia.
Well,
like it did in season 2.
Define Star Wars. What is your baseline for Star Wars? To me, it's the movies. But
yeah, that's what I go off of. So I want to see the Force. I want to see
so Rebels
Star Battle.
And
I want to see
Wars was not
Star
like
Wars
the same Star Wars to me. You know what I mean?
The Clone Wars, anything that has to do with the Force being in it, Jedi, Sith, you know what I'm saying? That's what makes me feel like Star Wars. So like the Clone Wars feel like Star Wars because we had all those things. Rebels, we had all those things.
Right.
Mandalorian,
right.
Very, very minute. Like there's certain episodes that feel like Star Wars, and then other episodes just feel like I was watching The Mandalorian, which The Mandalorian is great. Andor felt like Andor to me. It didn't feel like I was watching like the prequel trilogy or anything like that. It's his own thing, and it's great. It's just like Rogue One. Rogue One is one of my favorite movies. But you know what I'm saying? There wasn't no Force, there wasn't no lightsabers, there's none of that shit in there. You know what I'm saying? There's talk of the Force, but we didn't see the Force. So Rogue One is like its own thing. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make me feel like I'm watching the prequel trilogy or the original trilogy. Then when you get into like today was like the first time that I like really got that. Like I got it in the first 4 episodes, but it was like very, you know what I'm saying? It was very dulled down. This one made me feel like I was watching the fucking sequel trilogy or the original trilogy. It made me feel like, holy shit, this is Star Wars. And that's what I want to feel. I want to feel like I'm fucking watching Star Wars. I don't want to feel like I'm watching an offshoot of Star Wars or, something that's within the Star Wars universe, but ain't really Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? It's like if they had a TV show just about a fucking cantina and they called it Cantina Cheers. It's still Star Wars because it's based in the Star Wars fucking universe, but it's not the same as Star Wars. What I grew up on, what I'm used to watching. This gave me that feeling. This gave me that nostalgia. It made me excited to see Star Wars again.
Star Wars is like, does it fit within that Star Wars universe? Does it have similar delivery? And are the events similar? And is it within that same kind of Star Wars universe? To me, the sequels are less Star Wars than Andor because the sequels just make no sense when viewed in the same timeline as the original trilogy. Like
even though the sequels,
Luke turning into that makes no sense, and so therefore it feels like less Star Wars to me than Andor.
That's the problem with the sequels. It's not even that the
Andor
sequels
fits in Star Wars.
It's not even that the sequels don't fit in Star Wars. That shit was just stupid. You know what I'm saying? So it was like everything. It didn't make sense. Like the whole sequel trilogy just doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit in Star Wars. Like even Kenobi and Boba Fett, you know what I'm saying, fit in Star Wars. Like even though they were just not good, they fit in Star Wars. So you know what I'm saying, you can still watch it and be like, this is part of Star Wars. Like the sequels didn't even feel like that. The sequels just felt like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck? Like the only three things that actually made the sequel trilogy feel like Star Wars, in all actuality, was Leia, Han, and Chewie. That was it. Everything else, even R2 and C-3PO, R2 just shut the fuck down. You know how much shit R2 is we going to be through? Because fucking Luke left, R2 just shuts off and just goes into fucking hibernation like this. That's not who R2 is, you know what I'm saying? None of that shit made sense. It was just dumb. So it just didn't feel like Star Wars.
Right.
Fucking, that was just bad writing.
So that gives us an average. Yeah. So that gives us an average for this episode of 8, which is really good, and that's the best we've had in a long time.
And I hope that they fucking build off of this. I really hope that they build off of this because
I hope so too.
Because this was a good ass episode. And you know what? In all actuality, I have to say it. I enjoyed Rosario Dawson's acting in this, and I didn't feel like that fucking Rent movie where it
was much better in this. It was much better in this.
It was just like her acting was way like it just seemed, and not to say that she
felt
acted
like an
bad
actual character rather than a wall.
I'm not saying that she did bad acting because she played the part as it was in Rebels in the first ones, but every time I see her, I think of Rent. I think of that movie Rent where she's giving people's AIDS and shit.
There was less character
today,
than
I didn't,
brick wall.
Or
before.
Yesterday when I watched it, and then today when I watched it again, I didn't look at her like that. I really feel like I was watching Ahsoka. And then the young Ahsoka, which, you know, like it's been said in the chat, she was way better at fucking lightsaber battles than Rosario Dawson. But, you know what I'm saying, she's a fucking teenager and a child compared to a fucking 50-year-old woman and a 55-year-old guy. They're not going to be able to do the same. They're just not going to be able to do it.
Dude, but, I'm telling you, we need to see more of that actress. She killed it, bro.
Like, what's her name?
I don't know.
I have it somewhere here. Arena Greenblatt. Arena Greenblatt. And that's a fucked up last name. Greenblatt?
Dude, she killed it. She killed it.
Yeah, she did a good job. Some of the Easter eggs, just to point out for anybody that might not have fucking know, we had a Leia Organa. We talked about that. Running interference for Hera. Hu Yang name drops Kanan Jarrus and Order 66 as an Order 66 survivor. We have Ahsoka confronts Anakin in the World Between Worlds, which basically the whole episode. So I don't know how that was. Ahsoka relives the Ryloth campaign. Talked about that. Ahsoka relives the Siege of Mandalore. Tamara Morrison as Captain Rex cameo, voice only. Darth Vader's breathing. That's another thing we didn't talk about. When he's walking through the thing, you can hear the Darth Vader breathing.
Great.
That was fucking
that
great.
That was good. I'm glad they included that.
Ahsoka finally undergoes her transformation into the
But that
Ahsoka
makes me think it's more in her head, because why would he like switch to Vader unless that was like what she was seeing?
Well, I mean,
so that's why I think
nothing makes sense in the World Between Worlds because it's
that's what I mean.
It's called the World Between Worlds.
I think this is more like the Force, or like her mind is shaping what she's seeing. I think it's the Force teaching her in a way that she understands, if that makes sense.
Then we had, let's see, what else did we have? We said that. I have some more written down here. There was something else that I had written down. We had the Ahsoka and Anakin in their Clone Wars outfits. That was another Easter egg. The clone troopers was from Revenge of the Sith era clone troopers and Attack of the Clones. We have both. They showed both of them in there. We had the LAATS and the ATES. They were in there. And somebody brought up the Mandalorian Super Commandos. And then there was, I Won't Fight You. That's a straight kickback to Luke telling Vader that I will not fight you. That was the other one I put in there. And then it had Isha Tibbs hanging out on the bridge of the New Republic ship. The race first appeared in Return of the Jedi, working for Jabba the Hutt. So that was another one of the things. And then there was like two more, but I forgot to write them down, and then I clicked off the fucking website I was looking at. So some of the ones I caught, and then I double-checked just to make sure I wasn't tripping. Yeah, there was definitely some great things. This episode was way better than let's see, Chris said the way I looked at it is that it is very similar to experience to the way Ezra and Kanan and Ahsoka had the visions on the Jedi Temple on Lothal. It's more of a big vision than real. Yeah, that could definitely be it, because they all have visions, and when Ezra has the vision of Yoda, and they're kind of like floating in that space area in Rebels, it's kind of like that. It was kind of like that, because the stuff that he was showing Ezra, like the past stuff that he needed to let go, it kind of felt like that. Yeah, so that could be right. You know what I'm saying? And maybe she was just, looking at it as, it was all in the Force, and that's why Jason could hear it, because it was within the Force, and he's Force sensitive, so he's connecting with the Force. Still don't know how Hera heard it. Like, that didn't make no damn sense, but anyway. Yeah, so that definitely. Angelina says, what if Star Wars has canon events like Spider-Verse does? That's kind of what the World Between World is. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a fucking multiverse, but it's like still within the universe. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Like maybe on the next episode we'll go through and I'll give the complete explanation of what the fucking world between worlds really is, because basically it's a portal. It's like a force portal between worlds, but time doesn't exist there, or like it's hard to explain. It's weird, but it makes sense when you think about like how. Like Palpatine, like if you go back and watch Rebels and the way Palpatine was able to use the world between worlds to know shit, and you know what I'm saying, he attacks fucking Ezra and Ahsoka, and it's just, and he's not using a portal, he's using magic. He's using Sith magic or Sith sorcery to do it. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. The Force, when it comes to the world between worlds, is kind of weird, but it makes sense when you know all the details of what the world between worlds. You're like, oh yeah. So it's kind of like a multiverse, but it's really not. It's like a connection between the worlds within the galaxy. That's why I was kind of hoping like it didn't connect to the other galaxy, like, but I figured that that's what they was going to do. You know, when I said it last week, I was like, dude, this is what they're going to fucking do. They're going to fucking do this world between worlds shit or on Saturday. And that's how Ahsoka's going to get there. I just had a feeling that that's what they was going to do. And I'm glad I was completely wrong because they didn't do that shit. Which I still think the whale thing was kind of weird. I'm not flying in no fucking whales or purgle fucking mouth. Hey, you want to know something crazy? I was reading some shit today. Do you know whales are not fucking... Like, whales came from wolves.
Whales are mammals.
Yeah. A dog is a fucking mammal. But instead of fucking, you know how we think of, you know... So I guess some scientists, they did some fucking DNA trace, and the DNA strand between a whale and a wolf is like the closest DNA. So it's like fucking wolves, like when the shit branched off, like, you know, because, you know, they say their fucking shit was in the ocean and then it grew legs and started walking on land and whatever. Now they're saying that...
I don't think it was like descended from wolves, but it has a common ancestor to wolves. So it's like not like, from a wolf. It's like, but wolves, they came from the same animal, right?
Wolves, hippos, and whales.
Oh, right,
like,
yeah.
Are the three fucking? They all have the like. Animal. They all came from like the same shit. I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, I was reading that shit. Like, what the fuck? Wolves and fucking whales are fucking related. What the fuck kind of weird shit is that? So you telling me all my damn pit bull down there is fucking is related to a whale? Big ass whale? Holy shit, that's weird. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? They fucking, hey, my cousin's Larry the whale over there. Like, that's weird as shit. But, yeah, it's, yeah, that shit was kind of crazy. But this was a great episode. You want to get to some news and rumors? I have a couple things. I ain't got a lot, but I got a couple things.
So, yeah, let's do it. I didn't have much news and rumors.
This is Alton Castle for the only news you need, the HoloNet News.
Before we jump over there, Angelina said it's outside time and space, so you can see how events would change, and they did, because Ahsoka survived. Vader killed her in Rebels, and then in Rebels,
just so dumb.
She was saved by Ezra, and then she also says maybe Jason becomes a Jedi. And y'all correct me because I don't read the comics, but I'm pretty sure that in some of the comics, Jason is a Jedi at some point. Or he's been training to be a Jedi.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure because I don't read the comics.
Right. Until I see it in like TV, like I don't know like how canon comics are. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I don't.
Even if Disney puts out the comics or puts out the books, I still don't consider them canon until I see evidence of it in TV or movies.
Well, High Republic is definitely canon, because which they can do High Republic in canon because we don't have nothing about the High Republic. This is all fucking brand new.
Right, but I could still see them making a TV show where they
Or a
completely
movie.
disregard what happened in a book of the High Republic. You know what I mean?
Or they could do that. Well, shit, they've done that. They did it in Kenobi. They completely disregarded canon all the way around in Kenobi.
Yeah.
So when
I don't. Yeah, Disney does what the fuck they want.
either the Nielsen says who's gonna train him, then it's either gonna be Luke or Ahsoka. And if he
Kylo
goes
Ren's
to
gonna
Luke,
kill him. Hopefully.
so Kylo Ren gonna kill him or he
I
becomes
hope
one of the
so.
fucking. He becomes one of his one of the fucking the Knights
Because
of Ren.
he for sure would have had a better chance at beating Palpatine than Rey.
So in news, and this is something that we haven't heard about in a while. Star Wars Eclipse, which had probably the best
Oh my
trailer
God, you
any
heard about
video
Eclipse?
game ever. But Game Rant put out that Star Wars Eclipse will take a walk on a tightrope with Yoda. So Star Wars Eclipse is supposed to be set in the High
shit.
Republic era, centuries before the popular Star Wars content right now. But the game will feature Yoda, who may play a significant role in the story, although the specifics are not yet being revealed. Quantic Dreams has the opportunity to explore a different timeline period within the High Republic, showcasing Yoda's journey as a Jedi Master or his interaction with other iconic characters. That the studio faces the challenge of creating a lore that aligns with Yoda, established legacy without giving away his origin. You know what I'm saying? Like the. So that's how they're walking that nice tightrope.
I think you can have Yoda without talking about his backstory too much.
But they're gonna be walking a tight. That's why they're saying they're walking a thin tightrope because.
I get that.
You know what I'm saying? You because at this point he's just a Jedi Master. He in the High Republic he wasn't the Grand Master yet. So you know what I'm saying?
To be honest.
You're getting young Yoda and playing young Yoda in a video game. That shit might be dope. If like Yoda's like fucking 50 times doper than when he was like a million. You know what I'm saying? Like that might be fucking fun as shit to play.
To be honest, like I still am not even totally convinced that Eclipse will ever even come out.
And this is the first time that we've heard about it in fucking months. Like how long ago did we do the fucking the Eclipse fucking thing come out?
Bro, that was forever.
I thought that they said something about it not coming out because of the whole quantum dream fucking thing with them being racist and all the other shit that was happening and the money shit that was going on. Like, this is the first thing that I've heard about the fucking...
It feels like that was like a year ago.
It was probably over a year ago. I think Charlie was still on the fucking... Charlie was still on the fucking... Yeah, so that shit had to be... Charlie, we're at episode 189. And I think the last episode we did with Charlie was like 56. So yeah, it's been a while. It had to be over a year. And then another thing, Lego unveils a 649 Star Wars Venator class Republic attack cruiser. So this is going to be
how many pieces?
5,374 piece fucking Venator class Republic attack cruiser, that's fucking big.
That's sick. That's huge.
You know what's crazy?
I mean, I don't really.
And that's something that we didn't talk about.
That'd be sick.
That's something we didn't talk about. The visuals of the fucking the ghosts taking off and flying over the water and shit. That shit was dope.
That was good.
That was some dope
in the
ass
water.
visuals.
Yeah. That was good.
That was some dope ass. And another thing, we kind of hit on it a little bit. I know we're going kind of backwards, but when the water starts rising up over Ahsoka, we kind of touched on it before. That shit was dope because like the way the lines came from the catwalk of the World Between Worlds, and then the water came up, and then the line went away, and it started going up, and she's looking down, and then she go, dude, that shit was so good.
Nelson says Vintage Collection released an ATST Klatooinian Raider Edition from The Mandalorian.
Okay. Star Wars team leader said Target got a lot of new Black Series exclusives, the new Christmas release, plus a new Lego Walker with Chewie. Got to be the one from Return of the Jedi if we got Chewie in it, because that's the only time we see Chewie in the fucking which I still think the
with
fucking Family Guy fucking thing. We was like, boom, bitch, and he blew that fucking behind it. I fucking start sticking the shit out of him. That shit is funny as shit.
Dude, some of the funniest stuff is like spoofs of Star Wars. Like parodies of Star Wars are some of the funniest shit.
Yeah. And then there was one more. What did I do? I actually fucking closed it. I think I was gonna say something about the fucking the interview, because they didn't release this part of the interview. I think it was fucking the where Dave Filoni explains the story behind the episode, saying basically it was how did Ahsoka had to get rid of her hate, the hate for the Jedi, the hate for that she had against Anakin. She still hadn't let go of that. And I can't remember what it was on now. I just watched it before we came on the episode. See, that's why having fucking MS sucks. I'd be forgetting everything. And I clicked off of it. I think it was fucking... I don't want to say what it was, but just look it up. You can see it's Dave Filoni and Rosario Dawson talking about the episode. And basically she says, basically Dave said it's about her giving up the hate. That's what the whole underlying meaning of this episode was.
Giving up her hate and moving on from the past. I think moving on from the past needs to be included in that, because that hate is all coming from, her past. From her past. And how she can't get over it. She can't move past it. You know what I mean?
And that's what allows her to become Ahsoka the White. Is her giving up that. I mean, fuck you, man. My fucking master tried to. First off, you abandoned me. Well, technically, he tried to get her to stay. He did fight for her, but what I'm saying, it was fucked up with the Jedi Order. And then you turn around and try to kill me when you're Raider. So, yeah, I might hate you a little bit, you fucking asshole. You know what I'm saying? You tried to fucking kill me. And actually, you did kill me. And I guess Carrie Coon, whoever that is, responded to fans saying that she looks like Star Wars Ahsoka's Anakin Skywalker CGI. I don't understand what the point of that is. Like, I don't know the reference, so I don't know what it means. But
if we're done with Star Wars, I do have a question to ask you that is not related to Star Wars.
Okay.
Did you see that new Shane Gillis comedy thing on Netflix?
No, I didn't.
So new comedy special on Netflix. Guy named Shane Gillis, I think.
I know who Shane Gillis is.
Funny. You do?
Yeah, I know who Shane Gillis is.
I think bro. Funniest fucking.
He's been on. I listen to Joe Rogan. So yeah, all the comics are on Joe Rogan.
One of the funniest comedy specials I've ever seen on Netflix. It was fucking hilarious.
I gotta watch it. You know what's crazy? I've been stuck on this fucking, like, I'm watching all the NCISs for some reason. My wife got me watching. Them motherfuckers are good. Like, the only thing that I don't like about them, to be honest, it's just the same shit over and over again. But the episodes is really fucking good. I've been watching the fuck out of that shit.
What?
The NCIS, like, fucking New Orleans and Miami and all that shit. She's been on this shit for...
All the detective episodes are really the same thing.
It's the same fucking... But they're interesting. It's like, I don't know why I'm fucking sitting there watching this shit with my wife like... Why the fuck am I watching this, man? It's the same shit every episode. Somebody in fucking military gets killed, they go investigate, they figure it out. Every fucking episode. It's like, what the... But I don't know. Good acting, good dialogue. I don't know what the hell it is, but that shit, I've been watching the fuck out of that shit lately. And I started watching Rick and Morty from season 1. I'm watching all the seasons.
Oh, yeah. Rick and Morty's bomb.
Chris says, think we will get see Thrawn next episode. When 3 episodes remaining, they got to get him soon. I think we'll see him next episode. Because this episode was all based on Ahsoka's character development. Showed us a little bit about Jason's character development. A little bit about Hera. It brings in, some of the New Republic, but now she's leaving. Sabine is already there. So I think that the next episode is good. I mean, it just makes sense for him to be in the next episode. I really didn't think he was going to be into the last episode. And don't quote me on any of this shit, because as you see, my predictions has been off in a motherfucker. I was so off on this episode. But I have a feeling we'll see him next episode. I do not think that we're going to see Ezra. I have a feeling that fucking Ezra's dead. I don't know why I have this fucking feeling like Ezra.
I mean, I kind of hope he is.
I hope he is. I would love to see Ezra.
I don't think live action Ezra looks very good, to be honest.
But I don't think that we're going to see him, and I think it's going to fucking crush Sabine. And it's going to make Sabine really understand the error in her ways. And I think she's going to come to Ahsoka and be like, I apologize so much, Master. I shouldn't have gave it to him. I care about Ezra. But this is just like my dumbass prediction and so far I've been fucking wrong about everything. So, but I don't know. There's just something inside me that's just saying that we're not going to get to see Ezra. I don't think Ezra survived. Angelina says, I still think that the sequels are non-canon. They never happened to me.
I like that. I live in that world,
I wish
too.
I could block that out of my head, too, because, you know what I'm saying?
That's me. When I think
Star
of
Wars team
when
leader
people
says,
when people ask if I like Star Wars, I like all Star Wars except for the sequels. and to me, that's Star Wars. You know what I mean?
And
the
in all
sequels,
honesty,
Star Wars to me.
Like the only time I watch the sequels is if they're on TV and I'm just flicking through channels and there ain't nothing else on and the sequels are on. Right. I'll turn it on and watch it. Other than that, like I never intentionally watched the sequels.
Right. And as their own trilogy, they're fine. But in relation to the rest of Star Wars, they're so bad.
And my biggest reason I like watching it because I like Poe. I like Poe, man. Poe is the shit in the I think he's like Poe and Finn are the best characters within the whole fucking thing. Everybody else, I don't really give a shit.
Finn could have been. Finn was not.
He's still good. They just fucked him up, man. But he's still a good character. I like he's funny.
Bro, he has the same character development in every single movie. It's literally just a replay.
Yeah, that's why it's funny. Like the kid dropping the broom and using the force to pick it back up is the most interesting thing.
In the first one, he decides to stand up to the Empire, and then in the second one, he wants to run away. Dude, no, Finn.
He just goes back and forth. That's what makes it funny. He goes back and forth. Poe is my favorite character within. Like Rey, I like to look at her. Of course,
Poe is a good character.
Daisy Ridley is kind of hot, but you know what I'm saying. Other than that, I don't really want to watch.
She's hot. That's it. That's all she has going for.
Yeah, Chris, Finn is an ass. Like I like the fact that Finn is always trying to run the fuck away. You know what I'm saying? He's always trying to fucking
ass. He is ass.
I like Finn, and honestly, I do hope that Finn they allow Finn in the whatever this new Rey movie that they're doing. I hope he's in there, and I hope they redeem him and give him some fucking Force abilities. We know he has Force abilities. You showed it in the very beginning of the fucking Force Awakens. He woke up, the Force woke his ass up and said, don't do this. And then they didn't let him be Force sensitive the whole fucking time. So, redeem that shit. You guys got to give fucking Finn his fucking credibility. You got to make him a Jedi. Do something. Make him.
They fly now? Bro, they've been flying since before the prequels. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I want to see Finn get redeemed. I would like to see that. But I don't know if they're going to do it. That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of that's the only thing that makes me excited about the new Rey movie is because if they do it the right way, they can erase the sequels. Well, I don't have to watch it. I can it'll be a whole new Star Wars.
That's what I want them to do.
They can just start over with Rey being a Jedi and training Jedi, or her and Finn and Poe are going around the galaxy helping people, or do something. You know what I'm saying? They could just redo every fucking thing. Then we could just completely forget about you remember the sequel trilogy? Yeah, it's the one that introduced the one on the good movie. You know, Finn and all them, and Poe, and introduced all them as the That's what it was there for, and we could forget about everything else. It was just an introduction to the new characters. That was it. But I don't know. I have high hopes, but then I have high hopes, but then I don't want my hopes to be crushed because Disney has done some outlandish shit. There's fear, which is all right. I don't mind being scared.
I still don't trust Disney.
I just don't trust. Yeah, I don't trust Disney, so I'm scared. I'm so fucking worried about fucking what they're gonna do for Mandalorian season 4. They're gonna, man, they got to come out. Which I'll be all right if they, if season 3 was not as good as other 2. If season 4 is good, because fucking 39 Rockies out and not all of them are good, but Rocky is still the fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? I can deal with the bad fucking Rockies because the good ones were fucking good. And I don't expect, we know that even, Phantom Menace was good, Clone Wars is all right. Revenge of the Sith, fucking excellent. You have fucking New Hope, fucking, you know what I'm saying, Empire Strikes Back, yay! Fucking Return of the Jedi, yay! Sequel trilogy, wow! You know what I'm saying? Rogue One, yay! You know what I'm saying? So all of them can't be good. Everything can't be fucking a fucking 9, and we know that. But I can deal with Mandalorian season 3 being, you know what I'm saying, just mediocre as long as fucking season 4 comes out and it's fucking great. Because I know that they're not all gonna be good. And what makes me fucking worry about the bad season 3 too. You got to make season 3 fucking good. Because season 2 was good, but it wasn't that good. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It was all right. It just wasn't as good as
season 2 of Bad Batch was pretty bad to me, to be honest.
It wasn't that bad to me. It just wasn't good as season 1. I just wanted more fucking explanation, and they didn't give us a lot of explanation. They just did a bunch of random.
It was a pointless season.
Yeah.
Besides the Crosshair episodes and the last 2 episodes, the rest of the season literally couldn't have happened, and it would have been the same. But I think that's it, right? You got anything else, Kyle?
No, not really. I don't. The fucking episode was amazing, and I hope they continue on this fucking progressive state of getting better. Because if every episode gets better,
it was great. I don't know if I'd go as far as amazing, but it was pretty great.
I don't know. That shit amazed me. I was fucking. Holy shit! Oh, my bad, y'all. I know y'all got to hear this beep and shit, but I just found out a good friend of mine just passed away.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Fuck. Holy shit. All right. It's life, though. But I think that's where... fuck that. I don't want to wrap up the episode. This was too good of an episode to fucking wrap it up with, hey, my friend died. Ahsoka is amazing. This episode was fucking amazing. And it was. I think it highly redeemed...
It was great.
This episode was better than all 4 of the first episodes put together. And I will stand on that. I will stand on it. This episode was fucking good.
Easy. Yeah. It was definitely better than the other ones. But
and it made me excited about the up and coming episodes, and it made me excited about now I'm kind of more excited for Skeleton Crew. Just because I know Dave Filoni wrote 4 of the episodes on that. So, yeah, I kind of want to see Skeleton Crew now. I didn't really want to see it before. I was like,
I've never wanted to see it. It just from the description sounds terrible. But
now I kind of want to see it. I don't know. This episode reignited that inner flame was kind of getting low there. Needed some gas on it. I needed some gas on that inner Star Wars flame.
I probably agree with that. It definitely got me excited for more Ahsoka.
Yeah, so. And we will see you guys on... Oh, shit. What day did we decide that we was going to do or did you talk to...
Oh, yes, I did. I forgot to text you. Yeah, either one. So I can do it this Saturday if that works.
Or this Sunday,
Or
you mean?
no, I cannot do this Sunday. Not this Sunday. Next Sunday
So the
is
24th.
when we're doing it. Yes, that's when we're doing
All
it.
right. The 24th. All right. So we'll be doing the Return of the Jedi watch party on the 24th. So that's a little bit of news. And I hope everybody can come in and join us on that. We have a lot of fun over there. And Return of the Jedi, I like talking shit about Return of the Jedi.
I love Return. It's so
Return
good
of the
in some
Jedi is
parts.
a fucking great movie.
It's so bad
but there's a
in
lot
others.
of dumb shit that
Oh,
happens.
I
in that
agree.
movie.
I agree.
There's a lot.
There's some
It's funny.
stupid shit.
It's
Return
fucking
of the
funny.
Jedi.
And that's I think that's what makes it so good. It's fucking funny. All right, man.
I'll never be okay.
Angelina, Nielsen, and J Dog. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see everybody on Saturday. And then everybody, may the force be with you. Stay outrageous. And have a great rest of your week. Star Wars team.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you've enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. LightSaber Radio is produced by Pickfilm Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Garrison Turcott, CJ Elliott, and Kyle McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.